Welcome once again to another episode of the Random Access Podcast, brought to you by rapodcast.net. This is episode 819, recorded live on January 4th, 2025. And here are your hosts, the man who is hopefully still with me after all of these intros, Dave Pillay.
Hey, third time's the charm.
Yep, and the man who just could not get it right, Andy Lowe. Hi. Which nobody will know about because I will have edited out the previous failures. But yes, no, this is 2025. Off to a great start. Thumbs up.
Yay. It can only get better?
I guess.
I mean, it could probably get worse. But
yes. It can only get better.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Hi, Andy.
Hello, Dave.
How are you?
Oh, I am sore.
You are sore?
Yes.
Why are you sore?
Well, I decided I should probably start getting back on the treadmill again.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So, got back on the treadmill again. So it's been, my body's like, oh yeah.
Moving.
And we're probably going to have to get another set of running shoes because the inside heel is a bit worn on my current pair. So I started getting blisters on the back of my heel for the first 2 days.
Oof.
So I'm like, well, shoot, I didn't, really want to go out and get another pair of running shoes right away. But then I remembered that I got that pair of Nikes.
The Forrest Gump Nikes.
Yes, the Forrest Gump running shoe Nike. So
he squealed when he opened the box.
Yes, I did. So it's a Nike running shoe. So I was like, hey, let me try that out. It does not have the arch support that I'm normally used to. So it's going to be taking a little getting used to. Might not wear it for, long distances. But yeah, it was one of those things where it's just like, yeah, these running shoes are not working out. And then I think it was Kate was like, you mean your brand new Nikes? And I'm like, oh yeah.
I have those.
Maybe,
I don't know. I presume the Nikes maybe are better for running on the treadmill as opposed to like running outside.
Well, I'm on the treadmill.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's one of those things where they finally re-released them, though. So, I looked it up. They released them back. The shoes originally came out, way back when. They did a re-release in 2018 that sold out in hours. And then they finally put another one out just this, I was going to say just this year, but last year. So, but no, it's going to be a short distance running for those shoes. I gotta make them a little, worn.
Because his are like super worn.
Yes.
Is it the kind of shoe you could like take out the insole and put in a better one?
I don't know. I haven't gone too much into the shoe. It was just one of those things where it's like
too much into the shoe.
Yes,
I see.
But we'll have to see. But no, it was still one of those things like, yeah, could actually run in the Forrest Gump running shoes. But yes,
cool.
No. Getting back into the physical activity is getting used to it. But
yeah. I have a question. What happened to Oregon and Georgia?
I don't know what happened to Oregon and Georgia.
They both lost their games. They were ranked number 1 and 2.
Yep.
Oregon lost to Ohio State 41-21, and Georgia lost to Notre Dame 23-10.
23-10 for a college football game. That one does not seem very high scoring.
No, I mean it's pretty average actually for what I'm looking at for this like college football playoff. Notre Dame did something that was amazingly funny.
Oh, the fake punt.
The fake punt draw offsides.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
They had literally everybody run off the field.
They put on their special teams. They're like, all right, we're going to punt it. And then they line up. They blow the whistle to start the play. They run everyone off the field and do a mass substitution, at which point Georgia is like, wait, what the fuck do we do? Georgia starts scrambling to line up. They get set, and then they draw it offsides because Georgia is just so out of it and doesn't know what's going on, and it's amazing. So
I love during during the thing afterwards, he stated that it's like, it's really unfortunate because we've been told by officials in the SEC you can't do that. You can't run 11 on and 11 off. And people are like, well, the 2024 NCAA football rulebook states that any number of legal or either team may enter the game between periods after a score or try or during the interval between downs only for the purpose of replacing a player or filling a player vacancy or filling a player vacancy.
I mean, they replaced every player.
Yep.
Poor Georgia. That has to be so like, wait, what? Are you allowed to do that? Oh, shit. But like, even if they weren't allowed to do it, like you gotta go with the play.
Yeah.
Like, deal with the rules afterwards, but you gotta go with the play. So both of the top two teams lost.
Mm-hmm. Which somebody had done an op-ed. I forgot where he did it, but somebody was doing it like saying that, the college football playoffs aren't actually, the best teams in college football. It's just who's ever hot right now.
Yes.
And I'm like, yes. And
that's generally how tournaments work. Is this a shock? Is this a surprise to you? Like, do you think that the Super Bowl is the best team?
Yeah, that's not, unless you can somehow have every single football team play every other single football team, which that would be, let's see,
multiple times.
Well, just at least one round robin. You do one round robin. But
that, again, falls victim to but this team wasn't feeling good that week, or they weren't playing their best, or...
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it's got to be multiple times. Each team. Like, you just can't. That's not how competitive sports works.
Yep.
It's not finding who is the best team. It's which team wins.
Mm-hmm. Heck, March Madness is the team has to have, an 8-game winning streak in order
to get in?
To win the NCAA.
Oh, to win yeah. You have to win 8 games in a row.
Right? I think it's...
Unless you get a bye.
Well, no, it's 64, 32... 16, 8, 4, 2 teams. 6 wins. Or no, 7 wins. 7?
I presume you probably have to win the game right before, otherwise you're going to drop so far in the rankings that you might not actually play.
You play in the round of 64, you play in the round of 32, you play in the round... It's this whole N+1 thing.
It's 6 games, Andy.
Yeah.
There are 6 games.
What was I watched a YouTube where...
I'm sorry.
I watched a YouTube. It's a math-based YouTube. I think it was the same guy who did trying to get everybody to do calculating the 100th digit of pi by hand.
Matt Parker?
Yes, I think it was Matt Parker who did it.
Okay.
But he went to a German town for their...
Oh, yeah. It was Matt Parker.
Yeah, for their
100... The art exhibit?
Yes, the 120th anniversary of the town or something like that.
Yep. Where they add a giant concrete block every decade.
Yes. And they were going to make a giant pyramid. The problem is they started by putting a block down, even though they should have waited 10 years before putting...
Yeah, they started at 0.
Yes.
Oops.
Yep.
Oops.
Which somebody had suggested to the town, actually, I looked into this. Somebody suggested to the town that, okay, so they're going to finish the pyramid 10 years early. Mm-hmm. So what they should do is for the next 10 years, have people go through and stylize each of the blocks.
That's pretty cool.
For that last 10 years. So then, okay, here's the pyramid. In the last 10 years, we're going to, 10-year celebration of the culmination of this whole thing. And we'll get artists to come in and, put a little style on each of the blocks, which I was like,
they're not just giant concrete blocks.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Did you also
There's a bunch of different things they could do.
Yeah, but getting back to football, I remember somebody pointed this out to me. Did you love the fact that on January 1st, Michigan beat Alabama in a bowl game?
I did love that.
And on December 31st, Michigan beat Alabama in a bowl game.
What?
Yeah, Michigan and Alabama played on the 31st.
Okay.
So the January 1st, 2024, Michigan versus Alabama.
2024.
Yes.
So last year, Michigan started the year by beating Alabama.
Yes.
And ended the year by beating Alabama.
Yes.
Twice in 1 year.
Twice in 1 year. They basically, if I remember correctly, had to stop Alabama on a 4th and something in order to get the ball back, in order to finish off the game both times.
Yep. I'm actually wearing my Michigan shirt right now, or a Michigan shirt of mine. It's not my Michigan shirt. I have several. But yeah, it's, as they say in Ann Arbor, it's great to be a Michigan Wolverine.
I'm just wearing black.
Great to be a Michigan Wolverine. It's great to be. All right, so in the 4 remaining teams, we have Notre Dame and Penn and Ohio and Texas. I am kind of rooting for Penn and Ohio. I'm in one of those weird places where if Ohio loses, I'm not going to be sad. Mm-hmm. But I am rooting for them to win. And I'm rooting for them to win because then the final game is Big Ten versus Big Ten. And that makes me happy.
Yes, because there seems to be a lot of SEC, ACC, There seemed to have been a lot of bias against the
SEC
Big Ten.
has dominated football for the last decade.
Yes.
So it's really fun to see these other schools start to come in and be like, actually, you're not the best always. Mm-hmm. Now, that said, if Notre Dame wins, that's also awesome for them.
Yes.
And I would not be sad to see Notre Dame win. I think the only team that I don't want to win all of it is Texas. And I have nothing against Texas. I technically, as a Michigan fan and Michigan grad, I should not be rooting for Notre Dame. But we like Notre Dame. They're fine. They're a fun school.
I had a relative who taught at Notre Dame. Yeah. So, my grandma...
As we're fond of saying, the story goes, Michigan taught Notre Dame how to play football.
Oh, well, that's good.
That's one of the reasons why Notre Dame's stadium is modeled after Michigan Stadium. Michigan was coming back from a game in Chicago against the University of Chicago, back when the University of Chicago had a football team and was in the Big Ten. And apparently, they had a stop in Notre Dame and they played, they taught the club how to play.
That's funny.
Right? It's adorable. I don't know if it's true, but it's adorable.
Oh, looking this up now. The SEC put out a press release stating that they had not told Georgia head coach that it was against the rules. Yeah. They confirm that this was an actual legal play. As was ruled on the field. So they're like, that wasn't us.
Don't throw us under the bus. The SEC has told us that was a illegal move. No, we did not, sir.
No,
we did not say that.
That is all legal. No, don't look at us. Just because you didn't want to call a timeout.
Yep. Which, come on, call the timeout.
Yeah.
That was bad coaching is what that was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, we have the Lions game tomorrow night.
Lions and the Vikings?
Yep.
No. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are the Lions going to win?
Another primetime game. Oh my gosh, this is so weird.
For the Lions to be the team.
Yeah.
And what's great is a lot of, football teams it's often a very polarizing thing to people who actually care about football. But a lot of people I talk to are like, man, the Lions are doing great. Go Lions. That's awesome. They're America's darlings.
There was even, I remember when it was one of the first games that the NFL played in Europe, played it in the UK, and there was actually quite a large contingency of people in the UK cheering for the Lions. I think it was the Lions against the Panthers or something like that. But yeah, there was a comment, they're like, don't know why these people are cheering for us, but go us.
Cool. I didn't realize that Minnesota had been doing so well.
Yes. Which was a little weird because I was cheering for the Packers last week. Because if the Packers had beat the Vikings, then the Lions could have sealed up the number 1 seed last week again with their win against San Francisco.
But now they have to beat Minnesota to get the number 1 seed.
Yes. And if they lose, no joke, they go from the 1st seed to the 5th seed.
Oof.
Yes.
Ouch.
They go from the 1st seed
How?
to the 5th seed. That's just the way that it's all set up.
It's so tight.
Let's see if I can pull up the playoff thing.
Playoff tracker.
Yes. Playoff picture. Here we go.
I
Okay,
mean, like-
so yeah, Detroit Lions 14-2 right now.
Yeah.
Second seed, Philadelphia Eagles 13-3.
Okay.
Los Angeles Rams clinched the NFC West at 10-6.
Okay.
And then number 4 would be the Buccaneers at 9-7.
So please explain to me.
Yes.
How a team who is 10-6
Yes, is
would
the
be
third,
higher.
because each of
Because it's one from each of the conference, the sub-conferences?
Yep.
Bullshit. Bullshit. The Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers should be like 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah. So there's, let's see.
That's crap. That's crap.
The Packers are currently 7th at 11. So they have more wins against 2 of the teams.
Yep, that's crap.
So yeah, so the Lions could be a 14-win team, be stuck
At 5th seed.
At 5th seed. Therefore, then they are basically playing on the road the entire time.
They're going from playing at home the entire time to playing on the road the entire time.
Well, not only that, they would if they clinch the number 1 seed, they'll get the bye the first week, so they won't even have to play a first game.
Yeah, and
then the rest of the games will be at home. If they go to the wild card, then they have to play that first round on the road, and then play on the road, and it's just like, you got to be kidding me. Really?
This is bullshit. That's what it is. This is bullshit. Like, goddamn.
Mm-hmm. Which part of me is like, okay, the Detroit Lions are playing on the road. What's their road record this year? Oh, undefeated on the road?
Yeah, well, when you've only lost 2 games.
Yeah, that's true. If you've only lost 2 games, then it's not too bad. But yeah, no, undefeated on the road. So I'm like, okay, so they'll just be on the road and do what they've been doing.
Just keep winning.
Yep. Gesundheit.
I have to make sure to message my friend tomorrow. He's a big Vikings fan, having grown up in Minnesota, and wish him luck. So, Andy.
Yes.
Topics?
Sure.
Topics.
Now that it's not a year in review episode, we actually have topics.
I would like to talk about the topic I added, because I think it's very important that we talk about this.
Okay. What are we talking about?
I added a topic about honey.
Like bees?
Like the browser extension.
Oh, I've heard that on many podcasts.
Do you use honey?
No.
Do you have honey installed?
I recently actually removed all of my Chrome extensions because something was breaking Google Drive.
Ooh, well, that's not good.
Yeah, something was breaking Google Drive, so I said screw it, and I literally removed all of my extensions.
Okay.
So I have nothing. Oh, sorry, I have Camel installed.
You have the Camelizer?
I have the Camelizer installed because I'm tracking the Pokemon holiday calendar to try and see if it ever drops in price.
Okay. You know you can do that without the extension, right?
You can?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I will send you a bookmarklet. Are you familiar with bookmarklets?
No.
Bookmarklets are JavaScript. Copied it with all the URL encoding. I don't know if that'll work. Give it a shot. It looks super shady. But you can actually just save JavaScript as if it were a website, and then click it and run the JavaScript on whatever page you're on.
Well, anyway, I'm just going to keep.
So, okay, you can save this as a bookmark, and it does camel without you actually needing the extension.
Well, I've just got the one thing on there because.
Sure. So honey,
okay,
which is an extension that's like, hey, we'll save you money.
Yes.
And you're like, how? And they're like, we'll find you all the coupons ever. And you're like, oh, that's awesome. And so you install the extension. Well, here's the thing. Honey apparently puts itself between you and the checkout. And if you are checking out with a referral code, Honey replaces that code with its own.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not great. That's not great at all. So I go and I'm watching a video, and it's like, oh yeah, this is a review of XYZ product, and here's your options. I'm like, great. I'll click the affiliate link so that person, gets some money based on my purchase. And oh, Honey is up there, and it's like, yeah, we didn't find anything. And you click OK. Well, clicking OK is interacting with Honey, which means it gets permission to do things, and it hijacks the cookie, which it can do because it's an extension that you've approved, and it replaces the referral code with its own. This is bad.
Yes.
This
is.
you and I, have had an Amazon affiliate referrals link on our website for years.
Yes.
And if people used that, we got money from it. Unless they had Honey installed, in which case Honey got money for it.
Oh, I see.
And we'd never know because we don't have the sort of metrics on our site of like who's clicking links on our site.
No, all we would have is literally the stuff that Amazon would tell us.
Right, which because Honey is sitting there and is getting in the way, we wouldn't see.
Nope.
It is possible that they have stolen, and it is stealing. Like this is theft.
Yes.
They have stolen from us. Millions or billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. Not going to argue against that at all because that's, yeah.
So there actually is a class action lawsuit that was just filed on behalf of content creators, which you and I are technically in that group, to investigate this and call out Honey into court. So long story short, if you have Honey, I would recommend uninstalling Honey. Oh, here's the other thing that they've done. Honey purports to say, like, their ads all say, like, we'll find you the best deal. You don't need to search for anything. Which is to say, it's not the ads that say it. It's like the people who are talking about Honey and shilling for Honey. But those are often, like, non-binding comments. Honey apparently doesn't give you the best deal. In fact, if a marketplace has partnered with Honey, the marketplace gets to determine which codes surface in Honey's database.
Oh my goodness.
So Honey will in fact hide codes and not display them to you, which is the opposite of what it tells you.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, not good. Not good at all. Very bad, in fact. Uninstall Honey.
Oh, boy. Well, speaking of another lawsuit.
Ooh, yes.
Apple has agreed to pay $95 million to settle a lawsuit. It was a proposed class action settlement. Well, class action lawsuit that they have agreed to settle.
Yeah.
The settlement refers to unintentional Siri activations that occurred after Siri was introduced in 2014, where the recordings were apparently prompted without users ever saying the trigger words, "Hey Siri," and Apple routinely recorded the conversations, then were shared with third parties and used for targeted ads.
Uh-oh.
So this has been
naughty.
This has been in litigation for 5 years.
Yep.
But, people don't really know when, their things were recorded or when Siri was allegedly spying.
Yep.
Other than, anecdotal things saying, like, I talked about,
Sorry.
going to Olive.
Try that word one more time.
No, not anecdotally.
Anecdotal. There you go.
Yes. It's one of the things where it's like, yep, no, I know what I'm trying to say.
I know. Between Kate making a comment on the podcast, us talking about sports, Andy getting a word wrong.
We just need to bring in some food or a random beverage, which I actually have one I need to try out. Because when was it? We ordered from Applebee's for somebody's birthday or something, and they had a drink on there called Blueberry Skies, which turns out to be just a renamed version of Sex in the Driveway, I think is what the drink is called.
What?
Yeah. Turns out Sex in the Driveway is a spin off of Sex on the Beach.
Yes, I know of Sex on the Beach, the drink.
Yes. Well, it turns out there's a variation called
Sex on the Driveway.
Sex in the Driveway, yes.
Sex in the Driveway, not on, but in.
Yes, Sex in the Driveway. It's like a bright blue drink.
Sex in the Driveway drink.
Yes.
Very important to put the drink in there.
Very important to leave that last word
Variation on Sex on the Beach, stunning bright blue. So it's got blue curacao or something?
Yes. Peach schnapps, blue curacao,
and vodka.
Blueberry vodka.
The thing is, I hate peach.
Oh.
Otherwise, this sounds great. Okay, so I'm sorry, where is this going?
This was pretty good, but I could only find the ingredient list on their Applebee's page, and Applebee's stopped selling it over the summer. So I'm sitting there like, I've got all the ingredients, but trying to find the right measurements was a little off. It just wasn't tasting right. So it turns out my supervisor
worked at an Applebee's.
No, is good friends with the people who are bartenders at Applebee's.
I see.
So he, over the New Year's Eve, spent some time at Applebee's, and I had talked to him earlier because we were stuck out at a transmitter site waiting for an oscillator to calibrate. And I was like, man, I really wanted, this drink again, but they don't have it anymore. And he's like, well, hold on. And then he sends me a message. He's like, what drink are you looking for again? And I'm like, oh, it's this one that they're calling Blueberry Skies. And then all of a sudden I get a picture of a handwritten note with all of the actual measurements.
Aww.
So I was going to try that today, but it turns out I don't have any sort of shot glasses or shot measurement cups.
No jiggers?
No, I don't have any jiggers.
Need a jigger.
Yep.
Make sure you stop at a restaurant supply store and pick up some jiggers.
Or I could just put that in my next Meijer order.
Or put it in your next Meijer order.
Because they probably have them at Meijer, hopefully, maybe.
So what is the difference between sex on the beach and sex in the driveway?
I don't know. Okay.
Is it just the blue curacao? Yeah,
Nope.
Instead of cranberry juice. Okay. You swap the cranberry for the blue curacao. Curacao?
Yes.
I don't know.
And rather than orange juice, it looks like this has got sweet and sour mix and a splash of Sierra Mist, which I'll just do Sprite.
Oh, do Sprite.
Yeah.
Sprite is so much better.
Yes, it is. But yeah, no, that was going to be my new beverage for tonight, but yeah, I didn't have that around, and I didn't want to pour myself a double because that would not end well.
I mean,
that was part of the first problem. Is I'm looking at the ratios here, and I put way too much booze in this compared to the Sierra Mist and sweet and sour mix.
Okay,
so
AGDQ starts tomorrow.
Tomorrow is Sunday, yes.
The 5th.
Yes. Oh my gosh. These last 2 weeks have just been crazy with the 2 days off, 1 day on, 2 days off, 2 days on, 2 days off, 1 day on.
Welcome to the holidays.
Oh, and I think next year is going to be a switch for me, right? Because all the days move forward.
By one?
Yes, right? 2025 state holidays.
2025 December. So Christmas is on a Thursday because it moves forward a day.
Yep. So yeah, it's going to be Christmas Eve and Christmas off. So there'll be 2 days on, 2 days off, 1 day on.
2 days off.
I have a feeling I might just take that 1 day off.
Boxing Day?
Yeah, just take Boxing Day off.
Ooh, that sounds like a good idea. I might use my flex holiday on Boxing Day.
Yes.
Because then you get Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, weekend, and then you're back for 3 days, and then you've New Year's.
Well, we get New Year's Eve and New Year's Day off.
Well, look at you, Mr. Lottie-Dog government employee.
So I'll take Boxing Day off, and I'll take January 2nd off. And so I'll just come back for the 2 days, 29th and 30th.
For the 29th and 30th?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
It's not much going on anyway over the holidays because nobody's, we're a ticket-based system. So if nobody puts a ticket in, it's not, it gives me a chance to catch up on things, reorganize the truck, find that tool that I've been missing. Right. So Apple has agreed to pay $95 million for anybody who has, I think, bought an Apple device. Hold on, I'm trying to get the webpage back open again. Yes. $20 per Siri-enabled device for any customers who made purchases between September 17th, 2014 and December 31st, 2024.
That's a big time range.
Yes. So if you have a Siri device who made a purchase, it was purchased sometimes between September 17th, 2014 and December 31st, 2024, $20 per Siri device. The hearing for this settlement is currently scheduled for February 14th. And then if it's certified, then Apple will send a notice to all affected customers, which originally people were like, 95 million is not a lot of money, especially since court filings said that Apple could have been fined more than 1.5 billion.
Billion, yeah.
Yeah, billion with a B for the Wiretap Act. But the lawyers said that, privacy law is still a developing area, and if they try and go for the bigger amount, they don't know, how this could work in litigation. They had said that, the court might say that Apple users had to prove that their calls had been recorded through an incidental Siri activation activation, which, just like the honey thing is, how do you prove that if you don't know?
Right. Like, prove it. Do I have access to Apple's servers?
So, yes. So 95 million is still 95 million, but it's, not as much as people thought that they were going to have. Yeah. But we'll see.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that I'm glad people are getting something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, let's stay in the courts.
Stay in the courts. So we've talked about honey. We've talked about Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Which thing in the court do you want to talk about next?
Well, there's the big one. The fact that
the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals.
Yep.
Slightly different court at that point. Like, it's still the judicial system, but it's a little different. The Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, assholes that they are, have said, hey, FCC, government organization that was created to monitor and facilitate communication, you can't make rules about communication.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Supreme Court says you can't.
Yes, because Chevron is no longer the lay of the land.
So unless Congress specifically says you can do this, you can't do this. And in particular, they are talking about net neutrality.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fuck.
Yep.
Like, damn. So, like, that's it.
Pretty much. Because
unless Congress steps in.
Yes, Congress will have to step in. The Republican Congress will have to step in and do something. Oh, wait. Wasn't the previous Republican Congress the one that did the least amount of stuff ever in Congress?
Ever. I mean, to be fair, sort of, kind of, they wanted that because, A, they are trying to dismantle government because it is the Republican Party's stance that government doesn't need to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And anything that they did would have been credit to Biden.
Yes.
So they wanted to do as little as they could.
Yep. The Newt Gingrich game plan.
The fucking scorched earth policy.
Yes.
Which is not what you want for running the goddamn country.
So we'll see. Of course, Brendan Carr issued a very lengthy statement saying that this was,
a great success.
Yes. Which he then also later, I didn't put this in the topics, but he sent a letter to Disney stating that he is concerned about how Disney is interacting, because there's a bunch of contracts with the local stations about carrying the ABC content, and a bunch of those are up for renewal. And so far, there hasn't been an agreement between the local stations and the broadcasters, or the local stations and the syndicators.
Okay.
This is that whole thing, NBC has not agreed to our terms, which, cable is basically what it's been recently, retransmission fees and all that sort of stuff. So he posted an email saying that he was going to pay close attention to these. I
mean, I'm not against that. Like, someone taking a large corporation to task for, hey, I think you might be doing something shady. I'm on board with that.
Yes, but we still have to remember that when they talk about local TV stations, what company owns about 43%, I think? Is that what Sinclair is up to now?
Is it Sinclair?
Sinclair Broadcast Group. What are they at percentage-wise?
I don't know.
Stations. Let's see. 185 broadcast stations in the country. 40% of households have a Sinclair broadcaster, and of course, Sinclair is highly Republican based.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm glad that he's like looking at saying, "Hey, Disney, I'm going to look at this." I don't think that he should be favoring Sinclair. I think he should be looking at Sinclair too and saying, hey, I'm also looking at the fact that you own like 40% of local stations.
Yes.
They aren't really local stations anymore if they're owned by a conglomerate.
Oh, that's an old article. Wikipedia says 294 TV stations, which is still... That's still a lot. But no, it's one of those things where it's the people who had talked about going like, oh, the government should not be stepping in on these things have become eerily silent.
Yeah. Like, guys?
Oh, you just don't want not
your thing. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, got it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so net neutrality is dead, especially over...
yeah.
the next 4 years, because you can't even appeal it up to the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court's going to go, we already talked about this with, we already struck down Chevron.
We already looked at that. What do you want?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, 4 years is a bit much. Like, it could be 2.
For the FCC?
Oh, yeah, the FCC. Yeah, it's 4 years.
Yep.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the president-elect has suggested term limits on Congress?
Well, you see, we have term limits here in Michigan, and there has been a lot of times where there are people just bouncing around trying to basically stay in Congress without having to deal with the term limits. So you're allowed X number of years in the House and then X number of years in the Michigan Senate.
Yep.
Who was it? Somebody was running against Upton while he was still in there. This was when I was at the TV station, and Fred always we were one of the few places that Fred agreed to do political debates at. We always got Fred and whoever Fred was running against at the radio station for political debates, which was actually kind of nice. And I remember Fred saying, like, somebody had brought up term limits or something like that. And Fred, like, literally was like, the only reason my opponent is running for this office is because of term limits. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, no, he nailed that one. Because this person used to be in the Michigan House, and then they moved to the Michigan Senate, and then they got term limited out of that. So he's like, where else am I supposed to? Oh, let me try going for U.S. House.
I mean, is that a bad thing, though? Like, it sucked for Fred, but is that a bad thing?
I have a lot of the politicians that I have listened to have talked about the fact that when there's always new faces, there's no chance of getting long-term bonds and long-term friendships where you can actually work together because you have been working together for years, rather than getting people like Matthew Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert. Yeah, Boebert. A lot of these new faces that came in. Imagine, getting that over and over and over again.
Sure, but also imagine Marjorie Taylor Greene in 30 years.
Well, hopefully that's not the case. She almost lost again.
Almost isn't good enough, Andy.
I know.
She won.
I know she won again, but it was damn close. Yes, I know there's people like Nancy Pelosi should have been gone. The California senator. Feinstein?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dianne Feinstein?
Yes. Should have left long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I see the pros and cons of it.
A lot of people should have left a long time ago.
Yes. In my head, I see it like George Washington. George Washington got elected twice. Well, he was president twice. There wasn't term limits at the time. People wanted for him to run a third time. And he said, no, it's I have done my duty. I am stepping down. I want, the country to move forward from me. And that a lot of people just took that precedent with them, with the presidency, all the way up until, FDR.
Mm-hmm.
And then FDR kept sticking around, and finally Congress said, nope.
Right. Although, that was wartime.
Yes.
So, there was that.
Yes, but still, it was, after FDR, they're like, okay, never again. 2 and you're out. So, yes, pros and cons. Let's see, anything else government-wise? The government has signed $1 billion electrical bill, basically.
Okay.
The GSA has signed with Constellation, which is the country's largest operator of nuclear power plants, a $1 billion contract to supply nuclear power to the U.S. government for the next 10 years.
Okay. With existing plants or with new, a record $1 billion to supply nuclear power, to build new plants or just to run existing ones?
Constellation said the deal will enable it to extend the licenses of existing nuclear plants and invest in new equipment and technology.
So this is the government paying a company so that the company can pay the government to keep the plants running.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Microsoft bought 3 Mile Island.
Because, oh my God, the amount of power usage of AI is ridiculous.
It's very high. But also that's kind of good and awesome that Microsoft bought 3 Mile Island and is going to be running it. Google is investing in nuclear power. I'm happy about that. I'm pro nuclear power.
Yes. As am I.
as a intermediary. It is, for me, it's it's more important for us to stop using fossil fuel than it is to move onto hydro, wind, and solar. But so cool. This is great that the government is investing in nuclear energy, but why isn't the government building new power plants?
That is an excellent question. Probably because the laws and regulations around nuclear energy haven't really been updated.
Maybe. I mean, I guess it's never been the government running the plants. Plants are all owned by companies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that's the right way to do it.
I don't know. There's another good bad
nuclear
note.
Power.
Here's another good bad thing. So China has been pushing electric vehicles.
Okay.
Turns out next year, it's going to be predicted that there are going to be more electric vehicles sold in China than cars with internal combustion engines.
Cool. I hope their power grid can take it.
Well, that's the thing there is people are like, why has China been pushing electric vehicles for the last 4 or 5 years?
Because they want to move off of foreign oil?
That's the thing, yes. They don't have a lot of oil. Do you know what they have a ton of? Is coal.
Yeah.
So
they're using coal to fire the plants to power the cars.
Yes.
I mean, it's so kind of mixed there because coal plants are probably more efficient than an internal combustion engine.
Probably, yes. But if you have to build more coal plants...
Yeah, if you're building more coal plants, there's got to be a break-even point. Yeah, I'm not sure what the impact is according to the both of them.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, okay, this is great. China's getting rid of internal combustion engines. Oh, because they don't want to deal with foreign.
Because they're trying to move everything to their coal plants.
Yep.
And hydro, they've got some of the biggest dams in the world.
Oh yeah, no, Dad visited. Mom and Dad took a trip to China. That was one of their last trips, and saw the pictures of
Three Gorges Dam.
Yes, that was freaking huge.
It's an enormous dam. It is just absolutely gigantic. I mean, hydro, effectively, the taller the dam, the more power you get, right? It has nothing to do with how much water is behind the dam. It has to do with what is the height difference between the top and the bottom.
I still love, it's not true hydro, but up near Ludington, there's that giant reservoir that...
Do they use it as a battery?
They use it as a battery, yeah.
Yeah, I love that's
overproduction
also a big thing to do.
Yeah, they've got all the wind turbines right there too. So if the wind turbines and everything are overproducing, they run the turbines backwards.
It pumps the water up.
Pumps the water up into the reservoir.
Yep.
And then they use the reservoir
as a battery.
Yep.
That's also a big, we need to be doing more of that.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be doing more of that. We need that, and we need more and smaller nuclear power stations.
Yes, I agree. Quick news. Speaking of China and everything, Honda and Nissan have agreed to look into a merger.
Huh.
Which the CEO of Honda was asked at a press thing after this was announced. He was asked, why Nissan would be a good business partner for Honda.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't get an answer. He struggled to find the words before blurting out, "That's a difficult one."
That's not what you want to hear from the CEO of a company going through a merger with another company. Hey, so why are you guys merging? I'll have to get back to you on that.
Yeah.
What? What?
Yeah. Honda's doing well. Nissan, not so much.
There's something going on then. There's either patents or there's branding or there's some market deal.
It was basically people are thinking that the reason that these two Japanese companies announced that they were going to merge was because Foxconn was looking at purchasing Nissan.
Mm-hmm.
And Japan didn't want
Chinese company.
Yes. So I do believe that this merger was kind of
preemptive strike.
I was going to say
Is that where we're at?
An arranged marriage by the Japanese government. Oh, no. We do not want you to marry that foreign boy. We have this nice Japanese.
Wow, Andy. Wow.
Am I wrong?
I'm not sure. I don't know enough to say. I don't know what to say.
Yes, that Japan's government doesn't want China to take over Nissan, so they are kind of suggesting that these two work together.
Yeah.
Which, if they do merge, they will be then the third largest automobile
Global.
company. Yep.
Who's first and second? I mean, I'd want to say Ford and GM, but I don't think that's accurate.
No,
Not
Toyota?
Toyota's pretty big.
Largest automaker.
Like globally?
Yes. Toyota VW.
Okay.
Toyota VW. Oh, that's by sales. Let's see if
I mean, how else would you...
It looks like you have Toyota. There's different lists here based off of what you're looking at. Toyota, Volkswagen, Hyundai, and then there's Stellantis, which is Is that Chrysler?
Oh,
don't look at market cap because, of course, Tesla's got that all out of whack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not even fair to look at market cap because of Tesla.
Okay, so yeah, by vehicles sold, Toyota, Volkswagen, Hyundai, top three.
Okay.
Yeah, Stellantis is Fiat Chrysler. So, well, speaking of Tesla and SpaceX and everything, it's going to be an interesting week for spaceship flights.
Yeah.
Because New Glenn did its static fire, and the FAA granted the company a launch license for this week. It was originally supposed to be tomorrow, but they have put a delay on it, and they're currently looking at January 8th. For the test flight of the New Glenn, which includes the first stage landing on Jacqueline, which is the drone ship barge thing out in the Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
So there might be another large rocket flying out of the Cape that's not a SpaceX rocket. Now, New Glenn, if I remember correctly, I have to look this up, but I think New Glenn has a slightly lower weight capacity compared to a Falcon Heavy, but it has a greater volume in the payload department. So can't carry up as heavy as stuff, but will still have a larger volume in the fairing. But we'll see. This will be later this week. And then, of course, SpaceX has said that Flight 7 will most likely be this week as well, which they went through their plans for Flight 7. Flight 7 is going to have the new Block 2 Starship.
Right.
It will also reuse an engine from Flight 5.
Ooh, why?
Well, they want to make sure that the that engines can be, reused. They want to talk about reusability.
Okay, but maybe we do a full flight first?
Well, this is on the first stage. So the super heavy super heavy booster, basically has already done its thing. They got it to land once back at the launch pad, and
chopsticks.
At the chopsticks, and they said they have upgraded the chopsticks and some of the other stuff there, so it should be a better chance of doing another catch again. They're going to do. They're going to fly with 10 Starlink simulators. So they're going to have basically dummy Starlink V3 satellites, and they're going to basically attempt a, release of a payload during this flight.
Okay. They're trying to do a lot.
Yes. They're going to relight the engine in space again. They have removed a number of tiles to stress test various areas across the vehicle.
What? So they're like, we're kind of half expecting this to fail. We just want to know how it fails.
Yes, we're gonna try a whole bunch of stuff, and we're gonna
fail this in a very specific way.
Yes, they've installed versions of the catch fittings to see how well those work in the reentry. So yeah, no, they're doing a lot of stuff with this flight. So of course, the engine that they're reusing is serial number 314. Of course.
Geeks.
Mm-hmm. So yes, it's going to be a big space week, so that should be interesting. And then, of course, CES is this week as well.
Ooh, that's right, because it's always the beginning of the year.
Yep, so we'll find out all the news about that.
How many things are they going to squeeze AI into?
Oh my gosh. All the things.
What are we going to see? What's the craziest thing you think we're going to see with AI this year? From CES, not like over 2025, just from CES.
Just from CES. Well, let's see. We've already got... All right, here we go. Surround sound, but the AI knows where you're sitting, so it will automatically adjust the speakers so you are in the prime listening spot.
What if there's multiple people?
Well, then you're all screwed. Nobody gets a good spot.
Yeah, I never understood that for the, like, we can optimize for the viewer. I'm like, but I watch with people.
Well, you're all wearing Oculuses, so therefore, you all have the optimal viewing then, right?
But not the optimal audio?
No, yeah, multiple audios. Yeah.
Also, I hate the idea of multiple people sitting on a couch all with a headset on.
Yes, we're all together, but separate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the best that I can think of is AI in some sort of speaker system.
Okay. AI in the speakers is interesting. I'm kind of banking on actually something similar. Like that drives an idea for me, which is the Alexa's kind of like crap compared to
yes.
ChatGPT, Claude AI, Copilot. So, like, I'm kind of hoping that Amazon and Google are going to come out and announce and be like, we've updated. It's now large language model based. You can have a conversation with it.
No, that'd be, sometimes with trying to to the smart speaker has not been great.
Yeah. That's my hope.
Man, they've put in my iFit. My iFit now has an AI trainer, which is basically nothing more than it randomly texted me going, oh, I saw that you did an workout today. How do you feel? And I'm just like, you don't care how I feel. You are programmed to ask that. But it's one of those things where it's like, oh, can I suggest this? And I'm like, no, can I have something without these people? And they're like, oh, okay, what about these? I'm like, all right, sure, whatever. It's trying to act smart, but it's not smart. Like I told it that, the workout was easy, thinking that it was going to, because there's literally a thing in the iFit called Smart Adjust. It's like, okay, so maybe the next time it will do a Smart Adjust on my next workout. No, it just says, oh, well, if it's feeling too easy, then you can adjust the incline and speed with the controls on the front. And I'm
that's not that's what your job is.
Yes.
That's what you're supposed to do.
You're supposed to go, oh, I saw that was easy for you. Would you like me to increase the difficulty? Yes. Yeah. If you sent me that and I said, yes, that's what I was hoping this was going to be. Not you just reading the instruction manual going, oh, well, if it's too easy, then you could just adjust the speed and incline on the thing.
Yeah. Oh, really? I can? I didn't realize that.
I had to do that the whole time because your heart rate monitor kept on trying to push me down, even though I'm trying to get up into my target heart rate range.
Yep.
All right. We need to do randoms.
Okay.
It's late. I want to go to bed.
Random review.
Yes, random review. My review.
Your review.
Speaking of notifications, I've got a little app on my phone that I used extensively over the holiday.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the Epic Games had a lot of free games going on over the holiday. And so this app pretty much basically just keeps track of some of the websites that always give out free games, things like Steam and Alienware and Indie Gala and the Epic Games Store. And it notifies you when new ones have come out. And then will basically just, you click a button, sometimes watch an ad, sometimes not, and it will send you to the website so you can just right away collect your free game. So it has it for Epic and it has it for Amazon and a couple other ones as well.
What's the catch?
Well, you have to watch the ads every once in a while. That's what they're getting their money on is the ads. And it's not like you get extra free games. These are all the games that are normally, announced as free. You just don't have to. I don't have to go to the Epic store. I don't have to go to the random Steam pages. I don't have to go to the Ubisoft store, that sort of thing. It all gets sent to me and it's like, oh, that seems like an interesting game. Let me, pick that one. So it's an app that has one purpose, but it does it well.
Cool.
So yes, there's another one I'm looking at that's got a couple more storefronts added to it, but I literally just downloaded it today, so I haven't had a chance to really look at it. But this one was great over the holidays because every single day it would send me an alert going, oh, Epic, posted a new free game at their store, and then it would send me another reminder. It's like, oh, this game's going away in 12 hours, make sure you get it. And then, I just put the Epic, game, the Epic storefront on my phone. So just, I watch the ad and all of a sudden, boom, opens up a web browser and I'm at the Epic store on the page. Click the purchase for free. Boom, I'm done. So Epic Freebie Games Radar. Horrible name, but it did its job quite well.
Nice.
All right, random topic. Rolled ahead of time. Who should be worried more, Andy or David, that Andy's kids have built a working David-size catapult that launches a David size with matching mass of David?
I feel like you.
If my kids, who are 4 and 7,
right,
have somehow
built
been able
and
to
tested
a catapult.
This is a catapult?
Yes, it says a David.
I mean, I would say if it's a catapult, I am a little disappointed.
Wow, you wanted a trebuchet?
I'd want a trebuchet.
I'd want a freaking potato cannon, but
The thing with a potato cannon, Andy, is recall that the question is dealing with a David-sized and David mass.
Yeah, no,
So,
potato cannons wouldn't really
A potato
work.
cannon launching, we'll say generously 190 pounds. The recoil on that is not going to be pleasant.
No, that we're working into artillery range at that point.
Right. That is indeed a potato cannon.
Yes, but no, if they built a catapult, part of me would go, wait, what? Who? How? What YouTube videos have you been watching, Isaac? What? And most likely it would have been...
I think you would be more worried because, your kids are way young to be building something like that.
Yeah.
And they're not going to launch me. They'd have to get to me first. And again, they are 4 and 7. So, I'm not so concerned about them getting to me or forcing me, maybe tricking me if they have the wherewithal to build something like that. They could trick me into it.
What, Hansel and Gretel?
I don't even know, because,
Dave, can you climb in here and look at this thing inside?
Sure, what's in here? Hey, who turned out the lights?
What's that weird cranking noise? No, yes.
Why is there an imprint that is my size?
No, it'd be... Lots of questions would be had if my kids somehow were able to build a catapult to launch a person. Where did they get the materials? Where did they do the math? Most likely it would be 90% Isaac, because Megan, I don't think can count to 20. She can count to 10, I know that. She can count sometimes to 15, but I think those higher numbers, 15 to 20, are not 100% right. She also has a time problem where it's, trying to think about tomorrow and next year and next week and next month all seem to be the same amount of length.
I mean, do you not remember, learning about time?
I don't remember.
Time is hard.
Yes.
It's a very hard concept.
Especially when you have analog clocks in the house.
Time is a very difficult concept.
Yeah. It's something
I still think you. I think you would be more worried.
Yes, I'd be very worried because something has gone...
terribly not how it should.
Yes, something has gone off the rails.
Yeah.
Something.
Also, where is this? Is this in your yard?
I don't know.
Do you have a trebuchet or a catapult in your yard?
We've got enough room to build one in the yard, and we could just take it out the neighbor's backyard. We just take the fence down, take them out the neighbor's backyard. That should be, we can get it out to the road that way. So yes, there would be room to build and an easy egress once I, remove a couple of fence posts. Well, not fence posts, the other parts that are not posts, but still part of the fence. I'm trying to rack my head through how to build a fence now. It's not working. Yeah, no, I'm calling it.
Yeah.
Nope, that's it. That's a wrap. This has been another episode of the Random Access Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, corrections, suggestions, remarks, reviews, rebukes, retorts, or just rants, feel free to contact us. You can find us on Twitter at RAPodcast, or send us an email at mail@rapodcast.net. Thank you for listening.